First, we turn to some disturbing news surrounding Joe Biden. After, well, inexplicably canceling multiple public events over the past 2 weeks, Joe is now struggling to, even form sentences and speak at times in what is a coherent way. Earlier, he attempted to use a cheat sheet to deliver some extemporaneous remarks. It didn't exactly go well. Take a look.
I promise you, we are going to together beat this, and I think that but the idea that over 500, I have a card. I carry a card with me every day with the total number of folks who have been affected by the. As of yesterday, there were 500,071 people who have died from this.
Oh, and the media likes to attack me for saying, yeah, he looks weak, frail, and it seems to be struggling cognitively. What's on the note card, Joe? Your name, your address, contact information, name of your wife, what your address is, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. If you get lost, a reminder not to mention the corrupt family business. In all honesty, this is now getting scary. He is supposed to be our commander-in-chief, and this is probably the toughest and single most demanding job in the world. That's why you can't have a media mob, big tech, candidate protection program and run a campaign hiding in your basement bunker. And Joe seemingly can barely form a sentence in between naps. And meanwhile, there is a serious developing situation right at our southern border. After Biden vowed to allow more refugees into the U.S. and halted all border wall construction, illegal crossings are now way up. Not a surprise. Now, this includes kids under the age of 18. That is forcing the Biden administration to open an emergency facility for kids, or as the media mob used to call it under Donald Trump, kids in cages. This time, they're actually tiny trailers that look like shipping containers with bars on the windows. But Washington Post, of course, media outlet of all things radical socialist, they are politely referring to this as a migrant facility for children. Oh, with bars on the windows. We're going to talk about the hypocrisy coming up. But first, let's take a step back and let's review how we got here. We start the year's 2014, and that's when then-President Obama encountered a massive wave of migrant caravans filled with unaccompanied minors. In order to process and house these migrants, the Obama administration acquired a warehouse, and they used, you got it, a chain-link fence to divide children from adults. In the following years, the Trump administration, they continued to use the Obama facility for unaccompanied minors and other migrant children whose parents were being prosecuted for crimes. They did the same thing Obama did. This was a temporary holding facility where children were housed for less than a week. But in 2018, the mob, the media, they became hysterical after they unearthed photos circulating showing kids behind a chain-link fence. Well, as it turns out, many of those photos were actually from the Obama era. But the truth, it doesn't seem to matter to the media mob, to Democrats, to big tech companies. They only seem to care about smearing, slandering, besmirching, attacking Donald Trump every second, minute, hour of every day. So they accused him of putting kids in cages. Washington Post wrote that the chain-link fence was a symbol of mistreatment. Kamala Harris herself called it immoral and wrong and unnecessary. Joe Biden said that it was one of the darkest moments in our history. Well, he did it. Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez visited one of the facilities at the border and dramatically wept in front of a photographer while clinging to a chain-link fence. And in a matter of weeks, President Trump ended the child separation policy, ultimately closed the South Texas facility for renovations. Now, thanks to the Obama administration, a brand new, beautiful holding facility for kids with bars on the windows is back. It's open for business. Now, these tiny things that look like shipping containers are now housing underage migrants. We just can't see them. The Washington Post is praising the facilities and highlighting all the wonderful amenities, including, quote, colorful trailer at the entryway where flowers and butterflies and handmade posters hang on its walls. Tonight, to her credit, Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez, at least she is a Democrat that is being consistent, and she's blasting the Biden administration. But Press Secretary Jen Psaki wants you to know that these are definitely not cages like the last time. They're delightful trailers that look like shipping containers with bars on the windows and butterflies and sunshine and cotton candy on the walls. Take a look.
It's the same facility that was open for a month in the Trump administration, summer 2019. That is when Joe Biden said, under Trump, there have been horrifying scenes at the border of kids being kept in cages. And Kamala Harris said, basically, babies in cages is a human rights abuse being committed by the United States government. So how is this any different than that?
We very much feel that way.
It's not under Trump, it's under Biden.
This is not kids being kept in cages. This is kids. This is a facility that was opened that's going to follow the same standards as other HHS facilities. It is not a replication, certainly not. That is never our intention of replicating the immigration policies of the past administration.
Let me make a prediction. Jen Psaki, she's going to circle back on this one since the situation at the southern border is only going to get dramatically worse. That you could take to the bank. Biden's open border policies are a green light for migrants, and in the coming weeks and months, mark my words, there will be another huge, massive uptick in illegal immigration. Now, this is especially true given that Biden's pick for Attorney General, Merrick Garland, isn't even sure that illegal immigration is illegal. He wants to be Attorney General. Illegal immigration, he's not sure is illegal. Okay, take a look.
Do you believe that illegal entry at America's border should remain a crime?
Well, I haven't thought about that question. I just haven't thought about that question. I think the president has made clear that we are a country with the borders and with the concern about national security. I don't know of a proposal to decriminalize but still make it unlawful to enter. I just don't know the answer to that question. I haven't thought about it.
Let me guess, he'll circle back also. By the way, when I went to one of my many trips to the border, maybe 13, 14 of them, one time I took one of my feet and I stepped over the other side, and then I was accused of illegal entry back into the country. One step over. Can you believe Obama, the mob, the media tried to sell that guy as the next great moderate U.S. Supreme Court justice? He's going to circle back. Make no mistake, there is a looming crisis at our southern border. The Biden administration is only going to make it worse.